I'm Rosa Mendez, and I'm here at the #1 Long Island broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. I had the best time ever!
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It was quite disappointing what happened to us, but we bounced back fairly quickly.
Well, what else would we do? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Well, speaking of that, man, we need more members.
Okay.
What do you think we need to do to get the people of those 5,000 subscribers to come on and join the team as a Monte the Pharaoh member?
Nudity is out of the question. Any other ideas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do have a few ideas.
Well, just like Prel, they should tell 2 friends, and they could tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out all our content.
But that's, you know what? That's why you're the star of the show, because guess what? Members get special content. Even we spoke about it. Pharaoh came to me one day and he goes, "Man, what's the deal? I can't even watch some of these videos because I'm not a member." And I said, "There you go, Pharaoh. You got to be a member because this is what the members get. They get free content
Nice.
that none of the other fans that watch this show get.
That's right.
You get free autographs from some of these wonderful stars that come in, right?
Nice.
All you do is you go to the MNP webpage, or our own page, and shoot us an email and say, "Hey, man, I want a picture of Tommy Rich. I want a picture of whatever." And boy, that's on its way.
We give them their choice.
That's right.
We rock.
We do rock.
And you need to rock, too. Join.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV.
It's chaos, bro.
What are you doing?
I tried to do the one thing, and the good fucking wine got in the way.
Put it back up.
Oh, God's
You've
sakes.
got to promote our
It's
thing.
empty. What good is it now?
Oh, my God. At the board, Jared, how are you, buddy?
Where is he?
I'm good. How are you?
I still can't see.
Pretty good, right?
There he is.
We were discussing about adoption before we went on air with our guest.
What are you doing?
Pharaoh just revealed that he was
personal
FedExed
story.
to his parents.
I was. I was sent in a box. I was sent in a sealed box.
You know what the
That's
thing
kind of
is?
what
I
I
don't
expected.
even know if everybody out there even knows that you're adopted. You've mentioned that before, though. I think, right? I'm not
Have I?
revealing. I'm not revealing anything.
Like you
are
would care?
No, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I don't want to know.
You'd
I
be
don't
like,
want to
"Ha,
reveal
ha,
if
just
you
revealed
if you don't
another
want
personal
anyone to
thing
know.
about you in
No,
public."
it's serious. If you were adopted, I would feel bad. Not feel bad that you were adopted, that you didn't want.
You know,
me
the
to
hole's
tell.
getting deeper, Mike. Keep going. Keep going. You know what they did when the box came up here? They put it in the hole you dug and threw it in. You jerk.
Oh
Anyway.
my God, honey, he's here.
Yeah. Wrestling. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I'm embarrassed. Anyway, go ahead.
Think they had a return to sender slip they could
Boy,
have
when
put
they
on?
kicked when the second kid showed up, they were like, we wanted a girl. Throop, right back into the box.
Wow.
It was- yeah, well.
All right,
you know,
well, listen.
Shit happens.
Anyway.
Go ahead. I'm trying to keep it
Jack
clean.
Nicholson's
You're making
friend.
me not
Jack
clean.
Nicholson's friends are afraid that he'll die alone at a tragic death.
What?
We've known for some time now that Jack Nicholson's health has been waning. The iconic actor hasn't been seen in public for well over a year. From reports suggested he's suffering from dementia.
Well, you know what they say. All play and no work makes Jack a dull boy.
What is your favorite Nicholson movie?
Shining.
Really?
Yeah.
Over One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
Over The Departed?
Yes.
Over Batman?
Yes.
Wow.
The Shining is Jack's masterpiece.
What do you love about The Shining so much?
Everything about it. Not just Jack's portrayal of it, which was absolutely one in a million. It is one of the most unusual horror portrayals you will ever see.
You're a horror guy, though.
I am a horror guy. And don't forget, my favorite director ever, Stanley Kubrick, did The Shining. The man responsible for Full Metal Jacket, the man responsible for A Clockwork Orange. Stanley Kubrick's films are like a beautiful painting. Jack Nicholson's performance was all Jack. It was just such a great performance. I also loved Shelley Duvall does not get enough credit for her performance in that film. She is fantastic. She translates fear superbly.
A mess didn't like The Shining, the book or the movie.
Well, A mess, it was a mess.
John says his best friend was adopted, so you're in good company. His best friend was adopted. You're not alone.
He didn't get put in a box, did he?
Listen.
Get sent in the mail from Florida. Ooh.
Nicholson is probably, to me,
It's one of the
do
greatest.
you think he has a great? You know, it's weird.
One of
Like,
the
does he have a
greatest
good
actors
range in acting? Like, I was
Okay.
talking to somebody about acting, and you got great actors, but they're really just like one-trick pony type of guys.
Okay, well, Jack Nicholson is what Clint Eastwood is. Clint Eastwood's always the same too, isn't he?
Fair.
In every movie,
Yes.
he's basically the same Clint Eastwood dude in every single movie. It could be a Western, it could be Gran Torino, it can be whatever.
Does that
it
make
is.
him a bad actor,
No.
okay actor, or a great actor?
It makes him a great actor because it doesn't matter that he's not all these different sorts of things. He's a great actor. He plays it great. The end. Great is great. Does it really matter?
Interesting.
I don't think it matters that much. Great is great, and Jack Nicholson is great.
Fair enough. Judge in Trump's. Here we go. Here we go.
Man, why are you...
Judge in Trump's criminal
I don't
case
wanna even know.
has received dozens of threats, police sources say. A judge overseeing the criminal case against former President Donald Trump has received dozens of threats in recent days, ABC has reported.
Okay.
News, thoughts on that?
Okay, well, this is probably going to tick off some people, but anybody that's threatening this judge is a jerk.
Right.
What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Are you psychotic? I think it's pathetic. And no matter what the judge's track record is, against former President Trump, this is stupid. Don't they realize that doing this sort of thing just feeds into the ammunition that the other side wants anyway? You're stupid. What are you doing? That's dumb. It's very dumb.
Tavio back in the house.
W.O.
Well, that's a good comment, man. You shouldn't be threatening people's lives.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Come on,
I don't know.
It's just ridiculous.
May 5th,
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty
Oh, boy. Here
on
comes
Asking
Marty.
Anything. Wait a minute. Look at this.
What?
Marty, we're on air. What's going on? What?
I've not used the F word today.
All right, please don't. I have a guest that's coming on shortly.
Yeah, I've already made the mistake twice.
And
Keep it
Marty,
clean.
it couldn't have been more perfect. I was just announcing that you're appearing here on Monte The Pharaoh on May 5th, and we're doing something called Ask Marty Anything. What?
Okay, so, well, you gotta send me a flyer so I can, show everybody.
All right, but
So it's May 5th. It's May 5th.
May 5th, Ask Marty Anything. Our fans will have the entire show. They're scheduling video time.
Okay, but you just send it to me so I can show everybody.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we'll drink some wine together.
And stop being a hoe.
All right, but Mike, listen, no cursing on today's show,
Yeah,
please.
keep it clean, will you, Marty?
If you really don't want me to.
He sounds disappointed.
And by the way, that's Jimmy. You asked how he was doing. He's doing fine.
Hey, Marty!
Hey, Jimbo.
What's up, Marty? How you doing, brother?
What have you been doing, man? You ain't called me in 100 years.
Well, you never answered the phone, so I disconnected my phone and I got a new number.
Too many girls.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But no, I would always say I'm not a gay guy. I ain't got nothing against that. I got nothing against that. But I love you to death. I love you to death.
So, Marty, before I let you go, can you tell the fans how excited you are to have them ask Marty anything?
Yes. You want me to do that right now?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna put a gay show on. I'm gonna talk about gay people for the whole hour. I'm not even gay. I'm not even close to it. I got so many girlfriends. But we gonna do a gay ass show.
Well, with that, Marty, I will give you a call tomorrow. I love you, brother, and I can't wait to see you.
You're hanging up on me, okay?
All right, goodbye. Love you. Bye.
Marty.
Bye. The great Marty Jannetty, everybody, and that was impromptu. I had no idea he was calling.
Oh,
But
boy.
shockingly enough, Marty is here on May 5th on Ask Marty Anything. Like I told you, right? The Monte The Pharaoh webpage. There's only limited time, right? Because people that sign up, you get to ask one question. We're doing it in 10-minute intervals. Marty will be sitting here at the desk.
Pretty fancy.
Right, Jared? We've worked that out before, right? Where they sign on, they ask a question, you have a little talk with Marty, and it's great entertainment for the fan. Also,
we'll
May
make it
5th,
happen.
we've got Val Venus and Eugene in studio, and Marty will be interviewing Val Venus and Eugene with us from the table. How do you like that? So Marty's here for 2 interviews.
You expect Marty to conduct a cohesive, coherent interview.
I don't.
So that's why you're doing
But
it.
we will be
Genius!
We will be drinking wine.
That's genius.
We'll be drinking wine.
Yeah,
on top
this
of it.
this we'll be drinking this one. Wait, I drank this one. We need more.
Also, May 5th, guys, we've got a full plate on May 5th. It's an all-day and all-night deal. Jared's got his vitamins. He's ready to go.
His vitamins?
Manny Fernandez will be in house. I cannot wait to
Right.
interview Manny Fernandez.
Right.
It's his
And I've
first time on Monte
And
The
I've
Pharaoh.
already called my guy, so me and Tommy Rich will be stoking up.
And Tommy Rich. May 13th at 9 a.m., we've got the daughter of Roddy Piper, Teal Piper,
That's very
in house.
cool. That is
very
very cool.
excited for
That's
that.
very cool.
Right? And May 21st, Jared will be away, and he's very upset because we've got Jack Victory in house, and then former NXT star Mila Moore.
Jared, you definitely have made a mistake.
That, Jared, I really feel bad
Keep it.
because
This is a family show. Keep it
you
clean.
still got time. That's all I'm trying to say because you don't. Dude, look at the picture you're putting up.
Did you put it up? Did the audience see it already?
Yeah, they saw it.
All right, you're not going to see it. You screwed
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to have to reschedule.
Yeah, you might have to.
To the right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow.
Oh,
Jimmy, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band to Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. And they also sing the theme song for Monte The Pharaoh, Riding High. You can find Wisteria Hall's music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Please hit the like and subscribe. And since you're going to do that, go to the Monte The Pharaoh page and hit the like and subscribe.
And become a member and get involved in all our good perks.
Yes, absolutely. What are some of those perks, Jimmy?
Well, you know better than I do. There's a whole bunch of autographs they could choose from. What else do we have besides
T-shirts,
T-shirts,
right?
right.
Masks, COVID
Right.
masks.
Pharaoh's original adoption box.
And
is on
most
there.
recently, we got a shipment in. Really?
I thought you put it on there. 1995.
Is it signed?
I haven't signed it. You want me to jack up the value? I'll sign it.
Absolutely. So Pharaoh's maybe we'll do that May 5th. We'll give away Pharaoh's adoption box, signed by
What
Jimmy
did I
Farrow.
just start? Oh,
Not a bad idea.
Unbelievable.
If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page and Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh Twitch TV page. And if you're lucky enough to live in New York, you can catch this show with our guest, who we'll announce shortly, on Channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and Channel 20 at Tuesday at 7 p.m. Also, please download the new app.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Intuitive.
It's right there.
INTITIV.
IN2
That's what I said.
ITIV. You said INT.
Oh, there you go.
IN2 ITIVE.
Right? Where you got documentaries.
Well, we never get through that.
You've got movies.
Yeah.
You've got Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast
The
on
flagship
it. Guys,
show.
the app is free. Download it. The Intuitive Network. It is well worth it. We'll be right back. Which I'm very excited for. A very special human being. Amazing person. You're going to love her story. Maggie Messina.
We shall return in a moment.
Sir,
Ah.
Manscaped.
Uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So
bit-
Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go
I
do
know
the deed
where-
on a
I
woman,
know where
would you
he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Well,
Racing stripe.
retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to
Wow.
wander into that.
That's
thought
very
of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a
Wow.
smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, look
but-
what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it! I found
have
it!
you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. He's a trooper. Gotta give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say it. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven does, Manscaped could help you.
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. Welcoming our guest, Miss Maggie Messina. Maggie, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
All right, glad to have you. So Maggie, so the fans kind of know who are you, kind of gave Pharaoh a little breakdown, a little bio of you, and then we're going to hit you with some questions. Because, you are, reading this bio and being from Long Island and you coming from New York, Queens, it's still Long Island, right? You have quite the resume, so it's pretty impressive. And then the question is to the fans, how does this tie into wrestling? Where they're going to find out, right? So go ahead, Pharaoh.
You got me reading the introduction?
Absolutely.
I barely know how to read. Unbelievable. All right. And it says here, Pharaoh is going to give that introduction. So here we go, folks. Well, Maggie is among the first generation of women to own and operate a martial arts school. Master Maggie founded Taecole Taekwondo and Fitness Inc. in 1996. And Taecole has been in operation continuously since then. Taecole is now one of the most successful martial arts schools in New York State. In addition to serving tens of thousands of individuals over the years, Taecole also serves dozens of private and public schools in Nassau County, New York, as well as the Boy and Girl Scouts, Girls Inc., and many other nonprofit organizations. Maggie is a world-class martial artist and has won numerous gold medals for the United States of America. She's been teaching martial arts for over 35 years. Is currently a seventh degree
That's
black
right, you better
belt
back off.
and holds a seat as a regional director for numerous martial arts organizations.
Nice.
Master Maggie grew up in an abject poverty situation and transformed the challenges of her childhood circumstances into fuel for her adulthood successes. She feels a strong drive to pass along lessons of empowerment to help women and children rise from similar life situations to achieve lives that they thought that they could only dream of. Folks, this is Maggie Messina.
Nice. Well done, Pharaoh.
Thank you.
Very done. So,
you.
Maggie, an entrepreneur on Long Island, a successful one on top of that. How does this even happen?
Perseverance. Yeah, don't give up. You just you find your fuel and you keep going.
Do you find it, and do you find it more difficult being a woman in this type of business world? Is there much more bigger hurdles to jump over?
absolutely. Things have gotten a lot better in the coming years, but in the very beginning, it was very hard. Very few women even practiced, and when we did, we were not as welcome on the mat, and so there was constant hurdles put in front of us. And I grew up with big brothers, so my big brother was always challenging my ability to fight and stand up for myself. And so I wasn't giving up. And when I started the martial arts, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the lifestyle. I fell in love with how, when I stepped onto the mat, the rest of the world just kind of disappeared, and it was just me on the mat and what I wanted to achieve. And I just kept going with it. And I had, even when I had opened up my business in Albertson, I've had people come in. I've had men from other organizations come into my school and explain to me why I need them to teach for me, and meaning that I'm a woman and I don't know how to teach. And at first it was intimidating, and as time went on and this had happened, I had gotten to a point where it started to make me angry, because it was very disrespectful. And so with a few choice words, I asked them to leave and not come back. And it happened one too many times, and it shouldn't happen. I mean, this is my home. This is mine. And people just should not feel as if it's okay to do something like that just because of myself being a woman in the business. I mean, things are a lot better now. I'd like to think that I've helped some of those challenges for others, for other women. I like to empower women and let them know, hey, we can do this. If you have a passion, go for the dream and just keep going. And don't let anyone else put you in a box and tell you that you can't. And if they do, and when they do, just use that as your fuel to do it anyway.
Does it still happen?
Yeah, it still happens.
I would hope not as much as the old
Not
days.
as much. I think after a while, when you earn your respect, people know to stay away. But I have to admit, things have gotten a lot better.
Good. They should by now.
And I finally came to the realization that, for a long time, I always felt like I needed a man on the mat in order for my business to be legit. Within the past couple of years, I've come to really realize that I don't need a man on the mat. I can do just as good a job, and people are very welcoming. And I have plenty of men that come to my school. I have plenty of males. And, martial arts today is a very large children's population. And I've always made it where I've further educated myself in school. And so I can build my knowledge. Knowledge is power. And to make myself more marketable as well. So, I mean, my business, I think my best years are my past 2 years in business.
Would you think that, you might think this is ridiculous, but I kind of don't think
coming
it's
out of
ridiculous.
you? No, of course not. Go ahead.
With the return of Cobra Kai to Netflix, was there an increase in business because of that show?
I will tell. I
bet
think
you there
so. I
was.
think
Yeah.
so.
I bet you there was.
There's an impact, absolutely.
That's cool.
I mean, Cobra Kai is based on the martial arts schools.
Right.
I mean,
Of course.
all of that is from what really happens. And what's funny is because
So you're saying it's realistic?
It happens.
That's
I mean,
cool.
some of it's
That's pretty cool.
But
liking
it
that.
is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, this.
Damn good
Where do
show,
you think
too.
they get the stuff from?
Yeah.
I mean, the world is full of a lot of different types of people.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes something in the training area will happen, and one of my instructors will say, "Oh my God, I saw that on Cobra Kai," and it's kind of funny, but it's
That's
true,
great. Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes they take the acting a little bit, to the next level, but I mean, these are real life situations. When you go into a tournament, and you got that parent yelling from the stands, and just like in soccer or anything else. I mean, yeah, it happens. I think, and the kids love that show. Like they loved Karate Kid and everything else. Yeah, and hey, you know what? if they love it, it helps wake something up in them where, they want to do martial arts, more power.
It's
Yeah.
It's 35 years ago, but when you first started martial arts, I'm sure there was someone you wanted to be like or pattern yourself. Was it Bruce Lee? Was it Chuck Norris? Please don't tell me it was Ralph Macchio.
No, it definitely wasn't Well,
Okay.
I can't say there was anyone that I wanted to be like other than myself. I wanted to just be the best version of myself.
Okay.
And I wanted to do it different. I wanted to be really good as far as a martial artist, but I want to be a really good person. So I've always been the type of person where I'll take the bad and put it to bed that I don't feel works, and I take the good and try to just keep it on that level.
Can you give me a percentage? How much of martial arts is mental and how much is physical?
You know what? It's all mental.
all mental.
I feel everything comes from our mental
Interesting.
state.
Really?
We can push our bodies. I've pushed my body to a point where beyond. And if I didn't have a strong mind, that I wouldn't have the capability of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Our minds, we can train our bodies. Your
Sure.
body it's about being healthy and training and making sure that you're also getting the right type of treatment for your body. Physical therapy and acupuncture and all those treatments that you need to get well. We do, extreme training. It damages your body. I mean, it's like anything else, any other athlete.
So me showing up with my bag of Doritos and my no-filtered cigarettes, I'm probably not going to have a very good first session.
I will tell you this. I mean, you won't get through class as well as most.
I'm sure. I'm sure I would.
You're going to be huffing and puffing, and you're just going to feel like crap. But,
Yep.
The more you do it, and I feel when I have people that come in that are smokers and, they're not very healthy, they don't eat well. And once they start to feel and see what it's doing to
Progress,
them,
right.
opposed to others in the class,
Okay.
it's a wake-up call.
Okay.
And, most of them do wake up and want to live a healthier lifestyle. And, that's really what it's about. It's about the betterment of the person.
How much joy do you get out of working with the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts? Because I love the fact that you do this.
Yes. I did do a trip with them actually to New Mexico years ago.
Okay.
With kids that were getting ready to do their Eagle Scout. And prior to that, I had my opinions, of these clubs and some of the things that go on. And, I came to the realization is if you're going to have your child in a club, you need to stay close, for their protection and their safety. But the skills that they teach these boys and girls are incredible. I mean, it's life-changing skills that they can survive, if there was any type of catastrophic
God forbid.
something in the world. I mean, these boys and girls, they can survive on the land. And not only that, it's just really good skill building, their confidence, and, so on and so forth. I know the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, sometimes they get a bad rap for reputation, like any of the other organizations that have any type of reputation. But, it's the people. It's the people. And the troop that I was involved with that my students today still are a part of, it's a good troop, and they really do right by the children.
Who was your teacher in the early days? Is there someone that you think back on fondly as, your mentor?
I would like to think of my great grandmaster, Sachong Kong. He was the father of the son that taught me, but it was his love for and his passion for the art, the way he loved it, that really sat with me. And monetary means never really meant anything for him. It was just solely for the love. And he definitely had a big impact on me. Later on, as he got older, his son, Grandmaster Taecole Kong, he was my teacher and still is today.
Oh, okay.
And when you fall in love with something or you find that passion that unfortunately few people in this world find, it is the best way you can live your life.
Yeah.
because I wake up every day. I never feel like I'm going to work. I absolutely love what I do.
That's priceless.
It is priceless.
It is.
And the impact that you can make on people's lives is awesome. So, you know, I love working with the kids, you know, planting the little seeds and, you know, watching them come back in 10, 20 years and just say, hey, you know what? You were the best part of my childhood.
How were you affected by the pandemic?
Greatly. We were great. I was
would think
greatly
so.
affected. They closed us down. We weren't allowed to operate. We did everything on Zoom, and we were live within two days, which was a lot faster than most. We saw it coming, and we, you know, I made sure that we put a game plan together and jumped on it prior.
Right.
So we didn't wait. And but I had half my students that couldn't pay to come, so a majority of them were coming for free. Still, we had the online, and you know, I had to have more people working. I still paid my staff their salary. They still got their benefits. You know, I put them before myself, which is what an entrepreneur does. I wouldn't have done anything different, but it was really tough, you know, and the government gave us a little bit of money,
Okay.
but it's not enough, you know, and it will never equal our loss.
Right. Right.
But, you know, I just continue to put one foot in the front of the other. And like I said, when you love what you do and that's your passion,
There you go.
you know, I got to a point where I said to myself, you know what? I can only fix what I can fix. I only have what I have. And, you know, I'm just going to continue to be a good person and be who I am. And it'll fall into play. And it pretty much has. So people remember what you did and what you didn't do during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, 60% of martial arts schools in New York State shut down. 60%.
That's
a
lot.
large number.
That is.
You know what's really scary? Davio out there says Daniel LaRusso beat Lamar Luttrell from Revenge of the Nerds in the semifinals to get to the finals of the tournament in Karate Kid. That people
Leave it to Davio to tell us
people
it,
even
Davio.
know this information.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot that Lamar Luttrell from Revenge of
Right.
the Nerds was in karate.
Right.
What is the best karate movie ever made?
What is the best karate movie ever made, in your opinion?
I've got mine.
I mean, the Karate Kid was really good. I mean, it was, you know, it had a good story behind it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm a Bruce Lee fan myself,
Yeah.
but
I'm going with The Last Dragon. That's my favorite.
The Last
karate.
Dragon, yes,
That
yes.
is my favorite.
Enter
Actually,
the
I was just
Dragon.
with him
No, The
Don
Last
Wilson,
Dragon.
yes. I was just with him this past weekend.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was at an event, Ocean State Nationals, and Don Wilson was the superstar guest.
Wow.
So he was right next to me the whole weekend.
That is great.
Yeah, the guy loves to talk.
You give him a flip?
He loves to talk. Yeah, but yeah, that was a good one.
So people are wondering, hey, you got this great karate expert in your studio, and where does that hook up with wrestling? Not everything hooks up with wrestling on our show,
Oh,
right?
yes,
It's a variety
it does.
show.
Somehow, in the end?
In this particular
It
case,
does.
it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maggie is the sister of Lee Cole, who's been on the show, and the sister of Tom Cole, who recently, I guess his anniversary, 2-year anniversary of his passing
yeah,
was
the 12th.
just in February, right?
February 12th.
Tom is most well known for working in the WWE and was part of something called the Ring Boy Scandals. One of the major black eyes in professional wrestling.
Yep. Yep.
But again, nothing out of the normality of life, as you discussed. I'm not saying Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, but we will have to be very careful of what goes on way before social media and way after. But anyway, we want to kind of get into it with you, right? Because we've heard your brother's comments. He's been on the show twice. We find it's very important that people get to speak out their opinions and have a great dialogue. Lee, we consider a very close friend of the show. He's a good man.
Yeah.
And Lee felt that you being in the studio would give a different insight because we've discussed that, Lee has I don't want to use the word sketchy, but he has a troubled background, and people tend not to believe people who maybe run off the straight and narrow. So you can't find anybody more straight and narrow than yourself, right? So tell us about your relationship with your two brothers.
My older brother Lee, we've got our differences. I mean, I have the way I live my life. He lives his life the way he lives his life. I mean, but he is my brother. My brother Tommy and I, we were very close. I mean, that's my baby brother, and we were very close. And I watched him suffer for a long time towards the end of his life. It was traumatic, and it was just catastrophic how his life ended. We came from a background that was we were poverty stricken, and there were of course my mom, she was she was an alcoholic. She was drunk most of the time or high on drugs, and it was very hard growing up in that environment. And in that environment, there are times when, most times that we don't have any parents there.
Sure.
We're just at free will. And I will say this, I don't want to name any groups, because this is not a group thing, as far as whether it's this group of people or that group of people. These are people in the world that they're predators, and they look for people who were growing up like us. We're from a broken family. We're just teenagers running around on the street, hungry, just trying to find a way to survive. It's survival. And you'll find people who are very good at honing in on that and taking advantage. I will just say this. I work with children, and I would never and will never, ever tolerate anyone in my circle being anything like that. I mean, that person, I do such a screening, but if anything ever happened like that, it wouldn't be good for that person. A lot of people want to say blame it WWF, WWE, or this one, that one. I mean, these are people that were allowed to work for an organization, and things happened. And, you think if you give somebody a little bit of money, and you think if you just say this, or, that it's going to solve the problem, solve the issue, or the damage that it's done to the children. No, it's not.
Right.
It's not.
No.
And my 3 siblings are actually living proof of that. I had my 3 siblings pass away, and it was due to the way we grew up and people who were predators. This is a really big problem in the world today. And, it's really easy, I guess, to look away and blame someone and put the blame and just, or say it didn't happen. Oh, this didn't happen. They're liars. No one's going to lie and say that they went through something so catastrophic or so terrible because they're lying. I mean, this is truth. I know what happened to my brother Tommy. I know what he went through. And the people that hurt him know who they are. And they have to look at themselves in the mirror. Or, they have to live their life out knowing, what happened and what didn't happen. And I just want to set the record straight that, this is all over the world. This is something that I find that people of power, they take advantage and take what they want. It's almost as if these people use their life like a chessboard, and they just move around they just move around the parts on the board.
Sounds like manipulation.
Yeah, but to fulfill their needs. And it's disgusting. And it's at a point now that when I hear people, having these conversations, it did happen, how could this person say this? And I'm not just talking about the situation with my brother Tommy, I'm talking about all situations. If a woman comes forward and says that something happened to her, from a boss spoke to her or touched her in a way, or vice versa. It could be a woman to a man. It doesn't have to be just men doing it to women. It's vice versa. Why is there an argument there? Why is there an argument there? Let's just talk about it and try to solve the problem. Why is this happening? Because this damage, it doesn't go away. We can go to therapy and we can work it out and we can, have all these different types of trauma treatments, but this stuff doesn't go away. It lives with us. And those of us who work it out, we go to therapy, we do what we have to do to be the better us, we have a better chance. But not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody can afford to go to therapy. Not everybody can, or can be so deeply damaged that that trauma is just too much to even look at. And my brother Tommy did have a brain tumor, undiagnosed brain tumor. And his behavior before he passed away, he was very sad. He was very depressed. I would spend hours and hours running back and forth and hours on the phone with him. And, he was a good guy. He was a fabulous dad. And he loved his kids more than life. And, to say anything less about him is just not okay. The big thing here is that people need to be held accountable and they need to be prosecuted for what they do. And this blame game or going back and forth or putting someone that has been treated in such a manner, through hell in the court system, as if they have to go through it a second time, it's not okay. It's just simply not okay. And I've made a promise to my brothers and sisters. Before my brother Tommy passed, he had me promise him, tell my story and be fierce. And it's not all about the wrestling, organization. It's about his life and the way he lived and the way he was taken advantage of because of the way we were failed by the foster care system and by, the ACS. So it's much deeper. So I know my brother Lee he's really angry with that particular organization, and that's for him. That's his right to feel what he wants to feel. He was there more than I was there. So who are we to tell him how to feel?
Well, can I ask you, what was the story that Tom told you about what happened?
Was Tom sharing with you? Was he able to
Right.
speak to you when these things were happening to him? Did he, fill
Or
you in
even afterwards?
at the-
What was his side of the story?
While it was happening, for him it was very embarrassing. So it was very embarrassing. So he wasn't as forthcoming. I'm his big sister, you
Right.
know.
Right.
He wasn't as forthcoming with me. But towards the end of his life, he was. And things happened. He made decisions that he wasn't proud of. And there were things that happened to him that he found it very hard to live with. You're talking about a young man that has children. And as we have children, and they go through their teenage years, there's a lot of reflection there as parents. And he
Is this just a situation where, you guys, like you said, you grew up in a broken home, and he felt like he found a home within
he
the
loved
WWF.
wrestling. My
Right.
brother loved wrestling. I mean, from when he was little with the little figures and stuff, he loved it. So for a little boy to love something and then to have the ability to be, come on, it's like
yeah.
a dream come true.
Sure, yeah.
Let's be real. And, and he absolutely loved it. I remember him jumping up on the bed and going, I'm Superfly Snuka. I remember that when he was little. And I was a great fan of wrestling. I used to watch it every single Saturday religiously with friends.
Nice.
And, come on. It's like, you take a kid into an ice cream shop that likes ice cream, loves ice cream. He's going to be the happiest kid in the world. That's just the way it is.
As things got worse for Tom, though, what made him stay?
I think, I think in a lot of ways he was looking, it was much deeper than just the wrestling think he
Okay.
was looking for a family, like, or maybe possibly a father figure, mother figure.
Okay.
I think he was looking for a lot of things, and I can't answer. I can't answer why he stayed. I can say that, there's a lot of people who are abused by people and stay. But and people will say, well, why did you stay? Why did you let him do it? Or why did you let her do it?
So Maggie, the one problem I had, and maybe you could, I'm not asking for details, okay, but from speaking to your brother Lee, and from what I read, the two people that are in question here, right, are Terry Garvin,
And
and Mel Phillips.
Mel Phillips.
From what speaking to your brother, and then I asked him the same question, and your brother kind of went around it. Supposedly Terry had Tom in a room and hit on Tom, just hit on him, right? And again, man to woman, man to man, woman to woman. You're attracted to someone, understand he's underage or
Tom's a kid.
right, without a problem.
Tom's
I
a
get
kid.
that, but he hits on him, and Tom thwarts off the advances and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So understanding that he's hitting on a minor, I get that, and I'm not admonishing that. But what I'm trying to
said that Tom slept in the van outside.
right, he slept in the van.
I believe that's
But to me, it was like, okay, I understand he was maybe offended or shocked, and he's a wrestling fan, but it seemed a little too much for him to be so upset about this. Are you telling me that this is more beyond that story?
It started with Mel Phillips.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, Mel Phillips used to come pick up my brother in a suit and give my mom a little bit of money and take my brother. So, I mean, yeah.
And did your mother know what was going on? And I'm not blaming your mother. I'm just asking a question.
I know. I mean, listen.
She was just happy to take the money, maybe?
I would find it very hard to think that she didn't know what was going on.
Right.
I mean, what kind of grown man comes and picks up young boys?
Yeah.
But this is where it all begins. You know what kind of child. You know that it's a broken home. You know these people don't have parents that are. I mean, my mother was far from a perfect mother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, far from it. And her and I never saw eye to eye. Yeah.
Was she basically just happy to have somebody handing her some money?
It's a sad thing, but yes.
Yeah, that's how it feels from what you're saying.
And these people know that. These predators know who they can go to.
Yeah.
That's why they call it predatory. Yeah, and I don't know who's going to be watching this tonight or who's going to see this in the future, but that's why my 3 siblings aren't here today. Because of this and being brought up like this. I mean, we were all taken in 1972 or 73. We were all taken back. We were taken away by the foster care system, but then we were returned. So. The foster care system was a story in itself, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else.
There's been pictures of the family at WrestleMania. Did you guys feel that might have been a mistake to go along with that when they were brought to WrestleMania, gratuity, blah blah blah? Was that something?
Like I have to say, during that time, I was trying to keep my head above the water.
I hear you.
And I was in school. I was, working out, trying to become a champion.
Sure.
And I won't say I was estranged from the family, but a lot of this stuff, a lot of the stuff that I've seen lately is news to me.
Okay.
I had no idea my family sat outside picketing that WWF. I had no idea that even took place.
Wow.
And, so a lot of this, I was like, wow. So there was a time that I did go to the headquarters with my brother, Tommy, and he asked me to be there for him. And he's my little brother. I was always there for him.
Right.
I didn't know the full story, but I just know my little brother was hurting and he wanted support. So I was there for him.
Your feelings when it finally all clicked and you realized everything.
Towards the end of his life, he told me some things, and I mean, he's my little brother. My heart broke for him,
So we recently in the news, we know that the WWE merged with Endeavor, and this has become a $1 billion company. At the head of this snake for this conversation is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Do you blame Vince McMahon for what happened to your brother?
I will say this. If I were in a position in an organization and something like that happened, those people would never step foot and would never have anything to do with my organization again. And I would prosecute them to the fullest. That's just what I would do.
How about the other superstars that were very, very popular at the time when things like this were happening, like a Bruno Sammartino or a superstar Billy Graham, because the rumors have swirled for years that they were aware of what was going on here. Do you feel like they should have, somebody who had some push with Vince McMahon, some pull, should have said something to tell Vince what you basically just said, would get rid of this vermin? Should Bruno or Billy Graham have said something?
I think anyone that knew anything should have said something. Anyone. I'm not going to sit here and say who knew what, because I don't know. I wasn't there.
Right.
But I will say, if it were me, I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, yeah, you should have said something. I mean, it's not okay. And it's not okay to go and take these young children from broken homes. And I'm not talking about the WWE, WWF, whatever it is right now. I'm talking about any organization, any musician. For you to go into these rural areas and perform, like let's say in Poughkeepsie at that center, and for you to go around and take these young children at the age of 12 and 13 and take them into your world and do anything to them, that's a criminal. And for you to think, for anyone to think that's okay, you're just using these children as pawns. You're using them to your enjoyment, as if they're not even people.
They're just objects.
And let's stop acting like this doesn't happen. It's happening every single day. And it's not just one organization. This is what's happening. And people don't want to look at it. They don't want to believe that. It's, we want to turn away and pretend it's a beautiful world. But it's not. And when you watch people kill themselves because of it, it's just, it's heartbreaking.
Do you feel that was the reason why your brother...
I think my brother's brain tumor definitely had a lot to do with his inability to make rash decisions, but this stuff certainly did not help make his life any easier.
Right. Do you think at some point that the conversation should just end? I mean, it certainly ended poorly. Big issues. Do you think Lee should let it go, or do you think he should continue on this fight? And how long should this fight go on for, right? Until the passing of Vince McMahon? Excuse me.
I think the problem is much bigger than him. I think this problem stems from, from a much bigger than just. This is not something one man made happen.
Right.
He's not that powerful.
Agreed.
This happened because there were people that are mentally ill and have issues, or they have whatever it is, they're predators, and they were just in a position where they could take advantage of their power. So I don't believe one man he is to blame for all of this. No. But I will say, if it were me and my organization, these people would have never, ever stepped foot back on the premises, ever. And that goes from the two gentlemen you mentioned to anyone else involved.
Which, by the way, I believe that Terry Garvin was terminated, and I don't believe that Mel Phillips was actual employee, right? He was an assistant in some of the arenas. And again, I'm not defending it, but I do think your call for action did happen. But like you said, this is a problem that's gone on before I've been around, before you've been around, and it continues to go on. What do you think we could do as a nation to try to put a stop to this?
As a nation, people need to be held accountable, and there has to be some type of rigorous punishment.
Those two guys should have rotted in jail.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been walking.
They should have rotted.
Why did they walk around and die in their homes?
I have no idea.
That's the question.
That is a legitimate point.
That's the problem right there.
Yep.
Why were they? They should have been put in jail.
Yep.
Or put in a cage for 23 hours a day. People knew they were guilty of it. And, like any other, there are so many other people like this in the world. Why are they free on the street?
They would have been very popular in jail, too, for what they did. So, yeah, that's where they belonged.
I
agree.
It's unfortunate when you're a powerful person and you're head of an organization or a company, it's always your fault. Because you are in charge of that organization. You are the figurehead.
Right.
But then
it's like the president, right? If somebody's the president of a company, you're the fault of it. These people are under you, right?
But do the parents have some sort of?
The parents are absolutely 110% accountable.
We are
sexualizing
sexualizing our young children on TV on a regular basis, in commercials.
Oh
This is the big problem. So now we're sexualizing our children on TV. Women are being sexualized in the ring of any type of sports. Why are women wearing coach? Why are you wearing a short shirt with your cleavage showing? Why are you wearing short shorts? Why do some parents tell their children that it's cute to look like that out on the street? No, you're sexualizing, and the TV sexualizes young boys and girls, and you're contributing to the problem. You're feeding the problem. Absolutely, 100%. But I will say this, parents, we're responsible for our children. Okay, so you can't take a bad parent can't blame someone else for where you fell short and for what you did or did not do for your child.
I just want to read this from BS Express. I want you to weigh in on it. He says, I think McMahon knew what was going on a lot more than Joe Paterno did when he was at Penn State. Just my opinion. McMahon got a pass, and Joe P's legacy was tarnished.
I could see somebody saying that, feeling that way. I could.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not agreeing with it, but I can understand, I'm not disagreeing with it either. I'm pondering it.
Maggie, very, very intelligent conversation. You're 100% correct in everything you're saying. I agree. I think there's a lot in this particular situation. There seems to be a plethora of people that are culpable towards the demise of your brother. Put aside his medical condition. I don't really know what else to say. I think it's important that we keep drudging this stuff up until people get it, because I think people who have fame and fortune seem to get more of a pass than the normal human being, nor that neither one should.
What is that, idol worship? How did they get away with that? What do you think?
Their connections.
Okay.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, I could see that.
Connections, money. I mean, it's not even the money, it's the connections.
Obviously, so many negative things have come from this.
Because you can have someone that just, it does a fraction of a crime. And if they're just, the average Joe Schmo in the world.
they're going away.
They're going to jail.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they are. Yeah.
And then you can have, come on. Well, it's all out there. Some of the crimes that have been committed and these people are walking around like they never, come on. Like,
it obviously affected your life. It obviously affected your family.
Well, see, that's the thing, people. That's the thing I want to say. This greatly affected my family in so many ways. And it really upsets me to hear people talk about it, and people to make their comments as if my brother Tommy was like a bad person.
Right. Right.
He was a kid
He's
that
just a
loved
kid.
wrestling.
He's just a kid.
He wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and he was given a promise.
Right.
And things happened.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really sad friggin' story.
It is.
And it ended even
is.
sadder.
In the position you are in the company that you're running and everything else, I'd be remiss if I didn't think that you were somewhat tainted considering the situation. Now, you're around younger children and you're helping them and all that. Are you very weary and very concerned, or maybe even jump the gun in some cases, being that,
I am very intuitive, and I have a radar. I call it a gift.
Okay.
And I could see it a mile away.
That is a gift.
And if I ever feel something, it's addressed.
There you go.
I don't say, well, maybe I'm just reading into it. No, it's addressed.
What positives?
Wait,
have you-
I don't want to let that one go. I want to add, because we're almost out of time, and that's
Okay.
You address that, right?
Absolutely. I'd
I'm
rather
assuming
be
you're-
wrong. I'd rather be wrong.
How does a person
They're not.
react to you address? So I'm one of your I don't know what the situation, but just call it. I'm one of your workers, and I'm a man, and you have this intuition that something isn't right with me, and you approach me. What is the reaction of this person to
Well,
you?
I'll tell you now that I don't have that problem because I don't hire people. I make them myself.
Right.
If I did, like, let's just say it, I don't put myself in that position to have that issue, but if I did.
Well, let's say you said you addressed it with someone. So forget about a worker then.
Okay.
It could be a parent. I don't know.
Right, okay.
How does that conversation go?
It's never an easy conversation, but I wouldn't sleep at night if I didn't have it. So I'd rather be wrong than not say something.
Mm.
I'd rather be wrong.
Rather safe
I'd
than
rather
sorry.
hate. I'd rather have you hate me
Yeah, rather safe
than
sorry.
not make sure.
I got to tell you, that's a ballsy conversation for you
It
to
is.
have.
But you know
I don't
what?
Gotta
even
be-
know.
That's why I'm here.
Gotta-
So
I don't even know how I would react if someone approached me with that, because you felt something about me and you said that. I don't think I could control myself.
Really?
Even if I was guilty or not guilty, that doesn't matter. Point is,
And
that's
you know
a
what?
shocking
9 times
conversation.
out of 10, it doesn't mean it's the parent.
Yeah,
You know?
sure. Right, I gotcha.
I mean, but if I've had concerns and I've spoken with parents and they're very grateful for it. You know, I mean, I know the signs. How can that's the problem with society. We ignore it.
Yeah.
We don't want to say anything.
Right.
We want to pretend, or we're too afraid. But that's a life. That's a child's life that
Yeah.
can affect so many other lives because of their
Good stuff. All right, let's promote your organization again. Where can people come to the School of Maggie and learn the high level of karate?
It's actually Taekwondo, Shotokan Karate, but Taecole, TKD.com, and Albertson, New York. Our phone number is 516-739-7699, and you can call and get a free trial class.
I want to thank you for being so candid in this interview. I really appreciate it.
pleasure.
Pharaoh, final question before we go?
Yeah, you just said Taecole. I thought it was Taekwondo. Is it Taekwondo?
It's Taekwondo.
Do you believe this? My
Taecole,
whole life I've been going
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
Wait a minute. Wait, no, hold on a
It's a
second.
common mistake.
I
People
thought
say
you
Taekwondo.
named it
Okay, common mistake.
Taecole.
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 Yeah,
So that's
just-
Taekwondo Cole.
It's not
Taecole.
Taekwondo. It's
Taekwondo.
properly pronounced Taekwondo. I just
Very
learned that
interesting.
just now.
Is that your question?
That was my question.
All right, well.
I've been mispronouncing it for 55 years. Oh, I gave away my age.
Maggie,
Wah, wah.
fantastic
you.
interview.
Yep.
Again, we love
Yep.
Lee. Lee, if you're out there, thank you for introducing us to Maggie. Fantastic lady. Prayers to your brother Tom.
Thank you.
No human being should ever have to go through that. There should not be a chicken hawk out there that does something like that. And like I said, there's a lot of people responsible for this. And maybe with this interview alone, some people start to be more aware.
Oh, there'll be plenty of eyes watching this. Don't you worry. The message will get out there.
Pharaoh?
You've been watching Monty and the Pharaoh. And until next week, later.